Hello, everyone. Welcome to Authority Connected, where we bring you the top experts in their field to help you grow and be the best that you can be at who you are and everything you're trying to be. Today, we have the wonderful, the most beautiful Micaela Passeri with us today and all her wonderfulness to tell us more about emotional intelligence and all those wonderful things. And I'd like to get taken away and let her introduce herself.
Thank you so much for having me. Love the energy. Ciao a tutti. My name is Micaela Passeri. I'm actually coming to you from Florence, Italy. I'm an emotional intelligence business strategist. I actually do live and work in LA, but I live part-time in Florence as well. So I'm here right now. And I'm all about supporting you and understanding how you can master who it is that you are. Look, we are perfectly imperfect. We're imperfect beings and we learn and we evolve and we grow from the experiences that life gives us. What happens, the way that we are created and formed is everything that we experience in life conditions us. And so my job is to help you uncondition yourself and understand how your emotions are dictating your income, your revenue, your health, your relationships, your opportunities, your job, your work, whatever it is. That's me.
Fantastic. And it is so good to have you here. So, I'm going to ask you the question I asked everybody from the beginning. What is one thing that you know now that you wish you knew when you first started?
Oh my gosh. There's so many, but I would say I think the biggest one, the most important one is that I actually can do anything that I want. Anything that I set my mind to, I can achieve. That is the biggest thing. I know you can tell me, Michaela, go and learn how to play the guitar. I know, give me a month, I'll know how to play the guitar. You tell me, go and learn how to make quantum physics equations. I go and give me some time and I'll learn how to make those equations. You tell me, Michaela, you go and be an astronaut and figure that out. I'll go do that too. I just know whatever it is that I set my mind to, that I have a passion for, that I have a connection with, I can absolutely have and create in my life.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's what I'm always telling people. The only thing that's stopping you is you. If you want to have something in life, you can do it. You can make dreams come true. You can make amazing things happen. Now, look at over your wonderful information that you sent me. I hear you talk about how important emotional intelligence is in the business world. What are your thoughts on what makes emotional intelligence something that people should really pay attention to in the business world?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, if you look at Fortune 500 companies, the most important skill that they look for their top executives is emotional intelligence. Why is that? Because when you have a high emotional intelligence, you're a problem solver, you're a leader, you work independently, you communicate well, right? You're good to get along and to actually work with. So there's a lot of things. You have empathy, you can understand things. So there's a lot of things that go with having a high emotional intelligence. And so that's why Fortune 500 companies want that. But the main reason is because when you have high emotional intelligence, you understand how you are affecting your reality. You know that your past triggers and your past conditioning and what you experience in life, from the small to the big traumatic stuff, is part of your journey. It's part of your learning and your growth, but it's also giving you certain awareness and certain advancement so that you can then support your work environment, support your team, your bosses, your company. If you're an entrepreneur, you can lead your company to high ROI and profits if you really understand yourself and your emotionality and your conditioning, and then use it in an empowering way to get to where it is that you want to go. And that's where we come back to anybody. It's not just me or you, anybody. If they really understand how to manifest and how to use intention and action to have what they want, anybody can manifest what it is that they want in their life. So in business, it really helps us make more money. It helps us have great relationships with our clients. It helps us problem solve for win-win situations. It helps us see opportunities where nobody else sees opportunities. It helps us take risks in a calculated but also grounded way. So it's a lot of things that emotional intelligence helps us in business.
That's
And so
fantastic.
with what I do is just I help people understand how they can use it.
I see. So you help them unlock that power deep within.
Yep.
Because like you were saying, having high emotional intelligence and helps you be a good problem solver, and it helps you to communicate better because like you were saying, it's very important for people to build those relationships in business. And how do you see that mastering your emotional intelligence helps you deal with fear on the workplace and fear in everything?
So first and foremost, fear is the number one emotion that trips us up in everything.
Mhm.
It holds us back in seeing and taking advantage of opportunities. It holds us back from taking risks when we need to and we should. It holds us back from having conversations that we need to have. It holds us back from sharing our voice. It holds us back from asking for the money, asking for the sale or the promotion. It is that emotion that creates an alternate reality that isn't real. Fear is really an acronym for false evidence appearing real. What that means is that when we're fearful, when we're hooked into fear, so let me back up a second. So the way that our brain works is that as we evolve and as we grow, we're born and we grow and we learn from our experiences. The brain records everything. And then the next time we have an experience, it's predicting based on what it experienced before. So the brain is constantly predicting and it's tapping into the source from the past. And so based on the source, on your experience from the past and the source of the past that's in your brain, right? Recorded in your brain is going to tap into that and say, okay, wait a minute. Okay, last time we did this, we got burnt. No, 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 no. Last time we did this, we got dumped. Last time we did it, we got robbed, right? So then that's a normal process of the brain. However, it is not reality. It does not mean just because we experience being hurt one time, we're going to be experienced being hurt another time. It doesn't mean that just because we had a bad business partner 10 years ago, we're going to continuously always have a bad business partner. Like it's not true. It is what happened in the past and it should stay in the past. And so our job is to recognize when we're fearful and when we're afraid, take a breath, take a pause, and then say, okay, what's this about? What is it really where is this fear really coming from? And most of the times we're able to identify it. If you can't, then that's when you get support, right? You seek people like you and me to support you in getting unstuck and getting clear so that you can take the decisions from love and possibility and not fear and scarcity. Because if you think about it, and I'm asking this to your listeners, when you made a decision from fear, did it work out? 99.9% of the time, it did not. When you made a decision from love and possibility, did it work out? 100% of the time it did. So that is the issue with fear. It just creates this false reality that then we base our decisions from. And especially in business, then we hold back. We don't show up. We don't lead. We don't sell. In our jobs, we don't communicate. We passively observe. And then inside we get pissed off. But because maybe we're more passive and not assertive, then we hold it on. But then what that creates is it creates dis-ease in the body. You could get cancer. You could get certain types of chronic diseases. So you do not want to hold in your emotions. You want to express them, but you want to express them from a responsible place by communicating, grounded, loving, kind place. And look, we're humans. We're not going to always be perfect. So sometimes we're going to falter. But with awareness, we can go to the positive side more than we go to the negative side, right? And so fear is a pesky emotion. It really, we've seen it happen in the last 4 or 5 years, what fear has done for people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like you said, and fear helps hold in stress. And like you said, it can bring to disease because the number one killer of people worldwide is stress. And like you said, not dealing with your emotion, letting that fear overcome you, let it give you this false reality, really can build up stress in the body, which can cause all these problems. So yes, you are 100% right on that because we have to, as business people, as professionals, We are trying to handle all these hats of being who we are in our personal lives, who we are in our professional lives, who we are in between it, and save a little energy for ourselves. Yeah, fear can be a major demotivator in stopping us from having the lives that we want, just like you mentioned. Fantastic points on that. And like you were saying, with fear stopping us, there is an opposite side to that, and that's courage. And you said that courage and the things that you say can create opportunity. So, how can courage create opportunity instead of being limited by fear?
Yeah. So the emotional ninja hack, what I call emotional ninja hack for fear, is to act even though you're afraid, which is the definition of courage. So even though you're afraid, you recognize that you're had by fear, you're triggered into fear. You take that breath, take that pause, and you focus on where it is that you want to go. What is it that you want to create? Focus on the potential, the possibility, the love, universal love, not romantic love, right? The love for your passion, the love for yourself, the love for your clients, right? And you make a decision from that place. And so in fear, you act even though you're afraid. You take that step, you face the fears, because only on the other side of your fear is freedom, is potential, it's possibility, right? And that's miracle making territory. And so
Yes.
it's really just taking that conscious and aware step, do something, say something anyway, even though you're afraid.
That is fantastic advice because, like people often say, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's just that you're afraid, but you're still moving. You might be shaken, but you're going to move
Yeah.
because
Yep.
you let that shaking and that fear and then work with that. Like you were saying, you keep going. You don't let it stop you because, as you said, when have you had a good result from being afraid and stopping? You get your results from moving forward through it. And I think that's an amazing point because, like you said, that's how you get freedom. So,
Yeah.
I've seen in the things that you said that emotional freedom can equal success. So, what does that mean in terms of moving through fear and courage and helping people in all aspects of their lives?
When you courageously step in front of fear and move through it anyway, you're now showing yourself that your strength, that you can do anything, you can face anything. At that point, there's a new moment that's created, and that's in the field of possibility. So when I say that money, success, health, love, opportunity all lies on the other side of fear, it's because we then have this surge courage, right? Brings us this surge of energy of a combination of a lot of emotions. So pride, the good pride, surprise, right? Obviously courage, but also excitement. Also, hey, pat on the back, like I did that. So it raises our confidence. So
Mhm.
it shows us a different part of who we are that's not limited from the past. It is untethered from the past. And that here is where then we get to tether you into anything that you want to create in the future. Look, I'm living proof. Ever since I was a little girl, my mom's American, my dad was Italian. I was born and raised in Florence. So I have had that advantage. However, ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to live part-time here and part-time there. Nobody did that for me but myself. I created that through my intention. And a lot of people tell me, because I come here every 2 months, and a lot of people tell me, don't you get tired about getting on a plane? I'm like, no, that's exciting. I love it. I can't wait. But that's for me.
Mhm.
That's what I wanted. Right. So I created that from that place of no man's land, that place of no thing where anything can be created. But if you met me 20, 25 years ago, I would have told you, I can't do that. I'm not going to have the money. I don't have the money.
Mhm.
I can't do it. Who am I? But as I did my work, as I delved deep into my emotionality, identified and released the subconscious triggers that were tied into emotional blocks from the past, boom, I was able to then step into that potential. And then I've never stopped since. Now I'm living my dream. My
That's
dream.
amazing. And like you said, if you had not have taken the actions based on that intentionality, like a lot of people, they say, oh, one day I want to do this and I want to do that. That's nice. But when it comes to actually doing that, can I do it? I don't know. Maybe I can't take this step. And maybe then the fear is like, yes, you can't do this. You can't do any of it. It's controlling them like a puppet master.
Yeah.
And you got to cut those strings. You got to be free. They Pinocchio cut ears. You got to cut yours, and those strings on them no more.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
I look at, you talk about the three core emotions that trap people in negative cycles. So I know we talked about fear. What are the other two?
Yeah. So yeah, because fear is number one, right? So the other two is failure. So failure is also a little tricky because what happens with failure is the first time we ever experience failure, which is usually at a very young age, it locks in. And then we're like, oh no, I don't ever want to feel that again. I don't ever want to experience that again. So remember, the brain predicts based on past experiences. So the brain is saying, okay, that didn't feel good. That was icky, especially if we're ridiculed, rejected, judged, punished, whatever it is. We're like, oh, no, never going back there again. So then what happens is failure, it creates this huge roadblock because you're then avoiding. You're in a constant way of X this, you're in avoidance. And so when you're in avoidance, you're not in motion. We live in an energetic world. Everything is energy. Everything is moving constantly. Okay. So energy is never created or destroyed and never stops. So it's constantly moving. So if I am avoiding, I say stagnant. If I'm avoiding, I'm not creating. If I'm avoiding, I'm not moving forward. I'm not evolving. And so that's what failure does, right? It puts us in this avoidance stagnicity that then it's hard to get out of. And so the emotional ninja hack for failure is really to take that pause and take a look at all of the things that you have accomplished, all of the things that you have created, weigh it against your failures. I guarantee you there's a lot more of the accomplishments that there are of the failures. And also, you want to look at your failures at a stepping stone. They're just opportunities for you to learn. That's it. It's a stepping stone. Okay, fine. I know it didn't feel good when somebody rejected you or when somebody ridiculed you. It was embarrassing. Trust me, I know. I've been there, done that. But I learned if I go back and think about those experiences, I always got something out of it. So even though it was a negative situation, there was still something positive that came out of it, because even if it was just a learning or a growth for me, I'm still out positive, right? Yeah. So failure is that. So emotional ninja hack there is to just make a list of everything that you created, right? And work on shifting your mindset to seeing it as a positive instead of a negative. And then the other one is worthlessness. So it's the not position. It's thinking that we're not worthy, that we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not rich enough, we're not smart enough, whatever the enoughs it is, it's that feeling. So here that is our cross as humans. That is our humanity cross. It does not skip a generation. It does not skip based on where you were born or time or day. It's for everybody. So the thing is, with worthlessness, it's only part of you that feels worth it. Not all of you that feels worthless. There's only a part of you. And it's that part of you that's maybe your inner child, your wounded child. Maybe it's some other part of you, but it's only a part of you. It's not all of you. Because if it was all of you, you'd be dead. You'd take yourself out. The emotional ninja hack for worthlessness is always take the pause, take that breath, and then bring grace, love, and compassion to the part of you that doesn't fit it. She or he is just remembering the past. It's about just going there, being gentle with yourself, doing some self-care, maybe writing yourself a love letter, maybe listening to some great music, but it's doing whatever it is that makes you feel better and feel good about who it is that you are, and do more of that.
Yeah, I totally agree, because imposter syndrome itself is basically worthlessness plus fear. It's getting in there and telling you that, oh no, you can't do this. You're not good enough. Why do you think you're good enough to? Why do you think you're good enough to be on a podcast? Why do you think you're good enough to have this? Why do you think you're good enough to have a business? Why do you think? And the answer is, I know I am because I am. And you can look at it and be like, you can let that fear and worthlessness take over you. Like you said, take a breath, do some self care, and it really does help you out. And I know you have a variety of practical methods that can help shift people from the fear driven to the courage driven. So, which would you say are, let's make, I'm gonna make it, I'm not gonna make it super hard to see your top one. How about your top three?
Okay. Look, one of the tricks, the hacks that I tell my clients is, especially if they're triggered into negative thinking. So they've started noticing that they go a lot to a negative thinking, whether it's not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, feeling disempowered, whatever it is, to put a rubber band around your wrist, tight, not a loose one. It's got to be tight because it's got to hurt. The
Mhm,
moment you become aware that you're going down the downward spiral, you snap yourself. So you
mhm,
snap yourself out of it. And you do it enough times, the brain, you're literally rewiring the brain, because what the brain is going to say is, oh, when I have that thought, it hurts. Oh, when I have that thought, it hurts. That continuous thing. And then eventually it's got, I'm not going to have that thought anymore because
yeah.
I don't want to feel the pain. So that's just, it's a trick.
Mhm,
We're just tricking ourselves, right? The other way is really to get connected to your why.
mhm,
So why are you here? Why do you do what you do? What's your purpose? Where are you going? What are you doing? And if you don't, if you're not connected, then seek support,
mhm,
a coach that can help you get there. Because sometimes we can't see our own murky water. We got to be taken out of the water fishbowl to take a look at, oh, crap, I've been sitting in murky water for years, right? And so then we can then do something about it, right? So it's really then getting connected to that higher purpose. We're all here for a reason. Some of us are here for reasons that's beyond ourselves. Some of us are here for reasons that is about ourselves, right?
mhm,
But it's really tapping into to that. And that will take you out of fear and into love, right? Into potential. And then the other thing is, if you're really, especially those who are depressed, and if
mhm,
you're really entrenched in that really bad feeling about yourself, kind of like there's a dark cloud following you everywhere you go, which by the way, that was my thing many years ago.
mhm. I know those feel.
Yeah. I hear you, get you. Those of you who are listening, if that's you, I will tell you there is light at the end of that cloud. There is the sunshine. You just got to get support and you got to keep going. So apart from that, so if that's what you're feeling and you're just constantly just feeling down, engage in something that's greater than you. So for some of us, it could be our children.
Mhm,
Focus on them. For some of us, it's our community, right? For some of us, it's volunteering for something, getting associated with the cause that's right. Because what that'll do is it'll take you out of poor me conversation and get,
mhm,
oh my God, there's so many more people that are worse off than me. My situation is actually a lot better. So it's
mhm,
effective, but it also gives you, then on the other side, it gives you that opportunity to feel good about what you're doing and what you've chosen to spend your time and resources on. If I can do a PSA right now, what I do is I save dogs from the kill shelters. Los Angeles and California, there is a crisis. We just started a huge effort, stopthekill.com. We are looking for fosters, for adopters, for anything. They're killing them by the hundreds every month. No joke. Go.
mhm,
So that is that I'm passionate about. I've been passionate about a lot of other things.
mhm,
It still is, but now this is something new, right? I used to do empowerment workshops for women in domestic violence shelters. I did that for many years, right? I was passionate about that. Now I'm passionate about saving dogs. Whatever that is for you, seek it out, do it, involve yourself, engage, be committed to it, like
mhm,
unwavering commitment. That will
mhm.
get out of your kind of lull, right?
Yeah.
Your dark zone.
Totally agree because a lot of times people get caught in the me thoughts. And so, like I always said, there are thoughts beyond you. There's a world, whole giant world out there that's beyond you. And people often get stuck in the why me this, me that. And speaking of no kill dog shelters, that's my baby who's rescued from the shelter
Oh,
right there. That's my baby Nala, her cute self.
no, so cute.
And so my baby was a rescue. And so, yeah, she's a little beautiful little princess and she's a little bit spoiled. Maybe a little bit spoiled,
As
maybe
she
a little bit.
should, as she should.
Yes, I told her, I said, "You're a little princess, and your mommy's a little princess, so, you get the best of everything."
Yep.
And she's
Yep.
in there playing with her toys right now. That's why you can't hear her, hopefully. At least we'll be doing
Okay.
tearing up stuff.
Again,
But yeah, I totally agree with having a cause that's bigger than you and having your why, because if you get stuck in the rut of self is dangerous. Self is good when you're using, all right, I'm going to do this, I want to motivate myself. But when you get stuck in a negative spiral, like you were saying, self can really trip you up. So you need to look beyond you, look at the world, look at causes that you care about, look at things that drive you. Because like you said, knowing your why and all of that. And if you don't know how to do it yourself, yes, please get a coach, get somebody to help you, because you have the power. You just don't know how to unlock it yet.
yeah. Yeah. And absolutely. When you are looking at yourself and working on yourself, if we talk about emotional intelligence, it
Mm-hmm.
is introverted. Like it's all about me. It's all about you. But it's from not from a selfish place, but it's from a self-empowerment place. It's from a I deserve place. It's my birthright right place. When we get stuck on me, poor me, what about me, the victim story, all of that, we're in the ego me. We're not at the empowered me. We're in the
Mm-hmm.
ego me. And the ego me is what also trips us out. So I want to make sure that people hear the distinction between selfish, which is the
Mm-hmm.
ego, and self empowered, which is emotionally intelligent. Those are two very distinctive things.
Yes, you're right. Because when you're in the self empowered state, you are naturally inclined to help others and to communicate with others better, because that's part of empowerment. Meanwhile, when you're in the selfish ego state, you're all like, oh, this is all about me. And if something goes slightly wrong, oh, poor me. Oh, I can't do it anymore. And you're like, but when you tap into that self empowered state, you're like, okay, this failure is actually a learning moment. Like a lot of people say, fail fast, fail early, because you want to get as much learning as you can as soon as
Exactly.
possible. So that is totally fantastic and totally agree. So now we're going to talk about the women in the audience now. And men listen to, because you have women in your life you can help lift up. So you often say that courage is critical for women to break societal and self-imposed limitations. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, because look, as women, we have been, let's face it, we've been oppressed, right? N- No matter where in the world, everywhere, we've been oppressed in some way, shape, or form. There's a societal okayness with keeping ourselves small.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's been going on for so long, we're entrenched in, and so it's almost like we're at the deep end of it, and we're looking up, and it's, man, that's scary to go up there, get out of this hole. How am I going to get there? What if I fall? What if I slip? What if I can't make it? And so then we have to tap into that courage, because we get to share our voices, we get to speak up, we get to champion ourselves and our sisters all over the world, right? We get to share our genius and our gifts. We get to make a difference. Look, the Dalai Lama says, fate of the world is in the hands of the Western woman. It's up to us, ladies. So it's about doing the inner work. That's why I'm so passionate about what I do, because that's what it's all about. It's about untethering you from the past. We've all have a past. Some of us more traumatic than others, but we all have a past. We all have had challenges and failures and bad experiences. And it's all about untethering us from there and tethering us to our future that's bright, because it's whatever it is that we want to create, we want to make it. And yeah, we as women, we want to step up. I loved how in the last several years, so many more women have stepped into politics, for example,
Mm-hmm.
than ever before. And that's one thing, but what about in your daily life? What
Yeah.
about in your family life, in your extended family life, in your community, schools, your city, like all of it? We get to really mm, lead from a place of grounded self-empowerment
Mm-hmm.
that creates win-win situations for all. That's it. It's not about me doing more than you, or you trying to kick me out or whatever, right? It's not about that. It's not win or lose, which, by the way, has been the way of the man for many centuries, right? It's, oh, if he wins, I lose. Or if I win, he's got to lose. No, no. New way, people. We can create a win. We can create a situation where you win and I win. You get what you want and I get what I want. And that's really what we get to do as women, is create win-win situations everywhere. And I guarantee you, if we all came from that place, there would be peace in the world.
Totally agree, because in my opinion, I never see success as a win-lose game. I see it as all the boats ride on the tide together. We all rise together. All our boats can come up together. You don't have to shoot an arrow and knock a hole in somebody else's boat so yours can get some more water to rise up. That same water can rise up all of us. Okay. There's more than enough to go around. And if we help each other to succeed, we can create communities of success. And not just one little person got their success and one of them got theirs. No, we need to all work together.
Yeah.
And one more for you. So before we get to your special gift, I got one more. So
Okay.
I know you talk about transmuting this fear into courage. We talked about that earlier. So how can doing that elevate your relationships and your professional aspirations and give you personal fulfillment?
Okay, so one of the laws of the universe is the perpetual transmutation of energy, which is what we talked about just a little bit ago, where we live in this energetic world that's constantly moving, it's constantly changing, it's never stagnant, right? So it's constantly transmuting itself. Now, we are energetic beings. We, with our choices, our actions, our intentions, right? We can transmute lower energies, lower emotions into higher emotions. So when we think about how do we do that, we have to be aware. Number one, awareness is key. Number one, then we have to set an intention. We have to use our intention and be committed to our intention. So it's awareness, intention, and commitment. Those three things. So you can't just say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for it. For example, let's just say my example. It is a big job to do. It's going to be a huge undertaking to change what's happening in LA in the shelters. I've talked to some people. They're like, oh, it's going to be hard. You're not going to find anybody, blah, 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 blah. I've created a great team. We have a great team of people already. But if I went from that mentality, I wouldn't take any action. But I've decided to do it and I'm committed to do it no matter what it looks like. So the commitment is also what makes the difference to create that fulfillment. Because if we say we're going to do something, it's just like when we call people flaky people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are people that will say they'll do something and then they either find an excuse, they don't show up because they don't know what commitment is. If I give you my word, you got my word. And if I cannot uphold my word, I will renegotiate my word. So I'll come to you and say, hey, look, I know I said I was going to meet you Friday at 5, but something's come up. I can't do it. Can we do Friday at 3 instead? Or can we change a date? But I'm not going to flake on you, nor am I not going to show up because I'm committed. My word is myself. So whenever I give my word, I give me a piece of me to you. So commitment is that. It's commitment. Like you've got to commit. So you got awareness, you set your intention and take action, and then you got to stay committed. No matter how many obstacles, no matter how difficult, no matter how many setbacks, you stay committed. And I guarantee you, you will get to the finish line. That's part of your journey. I've lived it way too many times for it not to be true.
Fantastic, amazing. Because, like people say, my word is my bond. So I know when I give my word, I just do or die. And like
Yeah.
you were saying, you have to give your word to yourself too. You
Yeah.
give it to other people, promise yourself something. And then speaking of promises, that leads me to you promised a freebie for an audience. And what can you tell us about this amazing freebie you promised everybody?
Yes. I believe it is my emotional vibration reading and revenue calibration, which basically is a way to find out where you are in your consciousness evolution. So are you, stuck in pride? Are you stuck in the lower emotions? Are you stuck in maybe courage? Or are you in neutrality or willingness or acceptance? So where are you on the consciousness level of our evolution? And then what does that mean as far as how much are you calibrated to attract as far as income and revenue? If you're a business owner, how much can you make at your current level? And then I'll tell you what it means and where we can go from there. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. So there's always more work to be done in the inside. So for those of you that do want to take advantage of my gifts, please do. Just know that 100% of the time, you'll need to do some work. So we'll have a conversation about that too. That's just because we're human beings. But yeah, absolutely. So it's an interesting gift because it gives people an opportunity to experience the energy healing modality of emotion code and through the modality of kinesiology. So if you're not familiar with those, you might want to go look them up before your call. But yeah, it's my gift to everybody who's listening.
All right, then, everybody, make sure you get that gift because everybody has work to do, but you don't know what work to do. Let Miss Micaela help you find out what work you need to do so that you can actually make good effort in your life and see improvement. And with that's our show today. It was wonderful having the extraordinary Micaela Passeri with us today. And hopefully you all get get that freebie. It's in the link. Check the link at the bottom. It's going to be the link to the websites. You can even download actionable tips from this episode in a summary. And I know you want to read that if you didn't have the time to watch it. But if you didn't have the time to watch, just put it on while you do the dishes or something. So anyway, leave your likes, your shares, your everything in the comments if you found this helpful. And once again, thank you so much for having Micaela Passeri with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful. Thank you again.
All right, everybody. See you next time.
Ciao, ciao.